best money, Eliam. The Gazette's indie punk-like debut Disorder was a surprise hit, and the song Cockroach that followed right after on the Gamma EP was a bit of a breakthrough for the band, and the first song from the band to fully embrace nu metal. With more eyes now on the promising, young, and new Visual Kei band, expectations were set high for the sophomore album NIL. As for my reviews, we're going to talk about the cover. Remember, this is no bearing enjoy my opinion on the music. This is just for fun. Now, I do like the overall aesthetic of the cover as it kind of looks like a flyer. The flowers on the four corners works. The monster skulls that are holding up the banner is cool too. And the words being centered works too. It's not the most complex cover in the world, but it does excel very well at its simplicity. I'm feeling a 9 out of 10 on the cover. On to the music. NIL, unlike most Gazette albums, is not followed by at least some loose concept. The album is basically a jam session that is not constricted to one sound or even one genre. This has resulted in NIL being best represented as an album that is all over the place genre-wise, hopping from genre to genre, which is not entirely the case, while going from the funky, silly god disco to
Hey girl, are you ready? Hey girl, are you ready? Hey girl, are you ready? Keep yourself in your buildings.
To the very next track, of which can best be described as a Slipknot noise rock fusion on Discharge. As one hell of a genre whiplash. NIL can generally be summed up as funk rock. The funk sound on NIL is a lot of fun, to the point where one can completely forget how dark a song like Namatake Eme to Zutsura Jinsu or Lukewarm Rain and Love Passion is. It's about a girl who stabs another girl for flirting with her boyfriend. While Sleek God Disco does its job as a forget everything just dance song, the strongest song here predominantly in this style is Shadow 621. Shadow 621 would blend very well with the Western emo music of the time, with Rookie's vocal performance, especially in the final chorus. Instrumentally, Shadow 621 carries quick enough tempo to carry a moderate urgency which fits well with the song. One thing this song shows one of the biggest improvements the Gazette had made on their sophomore album is Rookie's vocals. On Disorder, there was a deal of imitation that fell off at times that left for a rather mixed bag. On NIL, the singing is one of the high points front to back. It is here where the smooth, low undertone in his voice that would be synonymous with the Gazette is really more prominent. One strength that remains consistent though with their debut, vocally speaking, is Rookie's emotional performance on ballads. DLN or Dark Long Night and Cassis are both major upgrades from the ballads on the last album, in which the ballads off Disorder were one of the highlights of that album. DLN has a soothing instrumental that lets Rookie carry the emotion of the song. The children chanting, "Song of the sheep in long dark night, song of the sheep in long dark night," is just the tip of the iceberg of the emotional weight of this melancholic song of bleak contentment, being the song is about a girl who goes blind from an illness. And Cassis is more in line with those 80s love song ballads, with it being a little bit over the top, which adds to its charm, is it's a sincere and it is a vulnerable track. Ironically enough, one of the main issues with this album is the lingering over leftovers from the sound of Disorder on songs like Barretta or Barrette and Discharge. Barretta is a retread of the tragic love songs on that album, and while it does have a nice guitar solo to close to the song, it does not change how the song basically feels like a remaster of a Disorder B-side. Discharge is a lesser version of the Social Riot Machines, with it being a lyrically improvised nu metal rant-inspired song. However, this one is more of like a wall of noise. With the existence of a ladder, going to this song is kind of pointless. And on that note though, the production and mixing is a major improvement over its predecessor, even with some of the aspects not aging entirely well, like the bridge in Nausea and Shudder. The other main problem with NIL is the way the album is arranged. This may have been a result of the Gazette changing the original track order to make the album less depressing, and as a result, there's not much flow and there are several jarring shifts throughout the album. The most notable one was mentioned earlier, which is going from Silly God Disco to Discharge on the very next track. This can result in NIL feeling less like an album and more of a playlist of the band's songs, and could be the main reason why this album has mostly been associated as this all-over-the-place genre-hopping album. Thankfully, the songs on the most part are really good on their own. Most of the songs carry a great deal of emotion weight and take advantage of the more polished mixing and mastering on the likes of the melancholic Bathroom. It starts off with the faucet dripping and there's some wet industrial sounds to complement the drums before the whole instrumental melancholically kicks in. The synth in the background behind the riffs, the song, while simple, does a great job with the song's atmosphere, as does the feminine-like backing vocals during the chorus. Rookie drives home this bleak rock song. Well, it's going to be bleak seeing how it's about a man who walks in to find his girlfriend or mother, take a pic of which it is, dead in the bathtub, with his performance especially during the bridge. Another track with a great deal of emotion weight that features a great vocal performance would be the album closer, the outright stomach-turning Taeyeon. Taeyeon is a very haunting closer from the opening scratches. Vocally, there is a weary and desperate tone for Rookie, especially during the chorus, which sounds more like outright crying, and the verses, there's this right amount of quivering in his performance. The vocals here stick out from the other heavy songs on NIL because there's a genuine feeling of anger and distress behind them. This is one of the highest regarded songs in the Gazette catalog, and for a good reason. It is a fantastic blend of the aggressive and melodic side of the band. The drum snare hits on the 3/4 beats add to the dread of the song's atmosphere, and the guitars from the melodies to the riffs are fantastic. The song outro drags out into a slow fade of ominous scratches is a fantastic way to close an album. NIL is an album that features many strong individual tracks that are well regarded as some of the band's best, and despite the lack of cohesion and identity that hurt it when looking at it as a full album, it is enough to be looked back at rather fondly. That's why I'm giving NIL by the Gazette an overall score of 8 out of 10, and giving it a tier of great. And my favorite songs off this album were Bathroom, DLN, Shadow 621, Cassis, and Taeyeon. What were your favorite songs on this album? Let me know in the comments down below, and this one should be rather interesting, as I feel with this album everyone's going to have a different listed favorite, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and I hope you all have a great day.